I just wanted to say that it's actually insane how much a simple change in the weather in a scene, in a setting, can really change the tension. Even small details like these just like naturally evoke different senses of emotions and can really up stakes. Like originally in this setting, I had it where it wasn't raining or hailing or anything of those sorts, and it just felt, there was tension there, but I didn't really feel it as much. It almost felt a little bit dry, if that makes sense. And as soon as I added in like this stormy weather, it really changed and upped the tension in the scene, because, you know, in rain and hail you can't see anything. You can't like figure out where you're going. There's a lot of disorder, like naturally. And I think that is so cool that even small changes like that can really completely change the story. Note to me, I also just realized that if I push off these conversations, these deep conversations between the two of them, until like a very tense moment already, when Ace realizes that he needs to be a friend to Biston, that like he not only really screwed up by pushing him away and lying to him, he really screwed up by doing that, but also that like he needs to help him. This cannot be just about him anymore. And I think that that's extremely important. By pushing those conversations back and having that tension build, we really make the story so much more interesting and so much more complex, and will really keep readers on their feet. Yeah, that's what we just learned. And welcome to the very first episode of the spring edition of the Writing Novelties. My name is Hannah Grace Fletcher. I'm an aspiring author currently working on my very first novel project, Project AOS. Project AOS is a YA religious fantasy / science fiction novel, and I'm currently working on draft 2 and have been working on draft 2 for about the past 3 to 4 months. So essentially what my goal is for this video is to continue kind of fleshing out my replotting document, continue trying to figure out really the roadmap for this story, because I went into revision without a plan, without a roadmap, I don't know why I thought that that would work, but here we are. So basically what we're going to be doing in this video is fleshing out my replotting document, kind of figuring out characters' emotions, kind of figuring out the emotional arc of the story, and then also once I'm done with that, putting inline comments throughout the manuscript. We will not be finishing that in this video because I think this whole process is going to take about 2 to 3 weeks with the amount of work that I have outside of writing. But I'm very, very excited to get into this, to kind of give you an idea of how I realized that I was essentially doing this entire thing wrong, was that I am not bad at editing books. At least I wouldn't like to believe that I am. I work as a copy editor. My job is to edit. I'm currently beta reading for someone, and then right after that, beta reading for someone else. And if anyone wants to buy them, I have services on Fiverr for manuscript critiques. I love editing. I want to be a book editor. I feel like over the past year, through reading and critiquing other people's stories and then critiquing my own, I've kind of been able to develop this sense of storytelling and what makes a good story and what draws a reader into a story, except when it comes to my own book. And I think that the problem is that I have way too much emotional attachment to the story. That isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that I'm way too close to this story, and I'm never going to be able to read it from a reader's perspective. So, in order to kind of try to mimic having a reader's perspective, I'm going to do what pretty much everyone has probably done with editing, but I haven't for some reason, which is essentially beta read my own book. And I'm calling it that to kind of give me that objective mindset. So after I finish replotting, I am going to go in and give inline comments throughout my entire book, look for little nitpicky things that I can change, but more so focus on developmental issues that I need to fix and anything with character. And basically, I've gotten a lot of good writing sessions in this video already. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I struggle to find a single spare moment to write, but I have actually gotten a lot of time. This morning, oh my gosh, this morning was the most beautiful writing session ever. The rain is so beautiful, and the birds were so beautiful. I started writing at about like 7:15 and wrote till about 7:50, I say. It took a while to set up the camera. No one talks about how much setting up a camera takes away from your writing time. It does. And even in that, I got a lot of amazing realizations, and it was just so beautiful and amazing. I meant to pray before I started writing, but I didn't do that, and I'm going to try to do that for the rest of this video because that is very important to me. If you're new here, I just said this, I'm writing a religious fantasy novel. I am a Christian, so it's a big part of not only my life, but this book, so that's why I'm trying to pray before writing sessions. But I didn't even do writing sprints. I just sat there and I wrote, occasionally moved the camera because that's what it's like being an author tuber, and it was just so amazing. But anyway, this intro is getting long. I am going to try to set this vlog up a lot differently than ones I've done in the past, because essentially what I've done in the past is recorded everything, told you what I'm going to do, like not like hour by hour, but I've constantly told you what I'm going to do. And I think that really contributed to me being frustrated that I wasn't getting a lot of writing content filmed in because I didn't have a lot of time to write. And then also, it would make the vlogs extremely, unbearably long and very difficult to video edit. I would have to shave off 30 minutes and get a 50-minute video out of it. Sorry about the dogs. But what I'm going to do in this video is kind of only film when I have something to say about book writing, or only film when I am doing a writing session. There may be a few little clips in there. Fun fact, this week is actually my birthday week, so I'm going to be making my own cake. Wish me luck. I don't think it's going to go well, but the idea of ordering one, way too stressful for me. It's too many decisions. Making my own, yeah, that would take an hour, but you know what? That's somehow less stressful. Don't know why my brain works that way, But anyway, maybe we'll include that. Maybe I'll give you a little me trying to make a cake extremely badly session later. I'm very excited for the process that we're having in this story and the growth that I've had as a writer. And I really think that even though my time is limited, this way of filming is going to work a lot better for me. It's going to feel a lot better, and it's also going to generate a lot better content for you guys. I am very, very excited for the very first episode of the Spring Novelties. We have a lot of goals. I meant to talk about this. I was going to make a separate video about my goals for this season, but I decided not to because number one, I'm a busy woman. I do not have the time. Number two, I can just tell you what I'm gonna try to do right now. So essentially the goals are basically the same. Try to finish editing the book and find beta readers and brainstorm for book 2. We're basically continuing what I started the last season, but hopefully actually finishing it this time. I plan on my own to set up smaller goals once I finish preparing to do this revision, and I'm hoping to actually finish because once summer comes around in late May, we'll have another month left of spring, and in that month, because I won't have school, we will have a lot of more time to write, and I really see the potential of me finishing this. The crazy thing is, I was looking at one of my old cover letters, and it said, I was talking about my book, and I was like, I plan on starting querying in August 2025. Girl, excuse me? Excuse me, what? The plan that I made on the beginning of this year was so I could query in January, and before I made that plan, I was trying to do August? Safe to say that's not happening. I am worried that January is not going to be in the cards for this year, but we are not worried about that. All we're worried about is making this book the best it can be. I have blabbed for long enough. Let's get into the video. Hello everybody, it is actually now Saturday. I apologize for not filming, but truly it has been the most hectic week of my life. I have not had time to beta read, let alone write, so that is telling you a lot about how my week went, and I just had to trust God throughout the entire week that everything would work out, and who figures, it did, so we're doing very well. It was actually my birthday yesterday, so that was really, really, really fun. My husband got to come into downtown and see me, so that was really wonderful. And he actually bought me a tripod, and if you are an OG member, an OG person that has been watching this channel for a while, you know the whole tripod situation, that I have a nice camera, but I don't have a tripod. I don't have a case because I hate buying things, so he bought it for me, and I'm really, really happy with it. Can you tell the upward angle? You guys are gonna get such good angles. I'm so shocked. I knew that it would be so different, but it's the fact that I can literally film from any angle, any height that I want. A lot has happened this week, but that is not important right now. We're going to get into what we're doing today. I think that I'm going to try to solidify the replotting. I know I keep saying that like it's almost there, and I kind of finished it before the winter novelties were over, but I just want to make sure that I have as much detail as possible. So try to finish that, and then hopefully start leaving inline comments into the document, which I am very, very excited about. I also have a new project that I'm going to start for client work on a manuscript critique, so I'm very excited to get into that. And I also need to film the April TBR, so I'm very, very excited to film that one. But anyway, I'm very excited to finally get back into the manuscript. It's been, like I said, an extremely hectic but also extremely good week. I just feel so blessed, and I feel so refreshed almost, and I feel very ready to get back into this project after this week, and I definitely need it. Without further ado, without furtherly elongating this, we are going to get to writing. This wouldn't be a very good video if I didn't show you this beauty. Look at this. Look at this. It's such a simple thing, but it's so taken for granted. Like all of them aesthetic over-the-head B-roll shots. I'm coming for you. I'm going to do it now. Hi everyone, so it is actually a bit later in the day. I haven't really talked to you guys all day. I think I filmed a little bit of b-roll, but really, truly not that much. I was kind of focused on filming my April TBR and picking those books out. I don't know which video is coming first, but if you want to go watch that one, I definitely recommend. I got a matcha. It is so good. My sister got me this mug and it is literally like the cutest thing in the world. She got it for me for my birthday. So yeah. Sorry I didn't really talk about my week that much earlier. A lot happened. I had a really good job interview and I think by the time you see this, I might have the offer letter, which is very, very exciting. I also got in a car wreck, which was not so exciting, and then a bunch of other small things, good and bad, happened, so it kind of just balanced itself out. But I think everything went really well, and it was nice to have my birthday and have my husband come down and to be able to spend it with my family. It was just really, really fun. But because of all of those hectic things, I haven't really had a lot of time to write, but we are going to get into that right now. I think that I'm either going to pull up like an old writing sprints video, or I'm going to use Flora on my phone to kind of do some writing sprints. And because it is already late, I think that I'm just going to focus on replotting the document, making sure that everything's really sound character-wise. I've left all the little seats that I need to. You guys can't see it, but I made like a little layout of all of the different arcs I need to follow. That's like character relationships, like mental arcs, different facets of Ace's personality that he's going to grow in, and different kind of topics and themes that we're going to conquer. So it makes sense, and I'm able to like position those in a way that nothing really feels half-baked, that everything feels very intentional and makes a lot of sense. But I'm very, very excited to get to that. I am very, very happy with this tripod. I love the above angles like so much. I didn't know how much I was missing out on these, but they're just so cute, and I think I really love them. But I think we may do this writing session, maybe do a writing session tomorrow, but I know that I originally wanted to get this video out tomorrow, so we probably won't do much more than that. But anyway, we are going to put on some music. I'm gonna listen outside. I have my window open because I love all of the noises out by the pond that's in my backyard. It's very, very pretty, but I'm very excited to get to some writing sprints and to finally make sure that this plotting document is absolutely the way it needs to be. Maybe tonight I'll leave my first inline comment. It probably won't be anything too serious, just first inline comment. Yay! I'm sorry this video is so long. It kind of feels odd to me and very like disconnected the way how big the break was, but I hope it doesn't feel like that to you. I know it was just like a second, but like there's definitely like change in between that. I'm going to get to that, stop blabbing, actually get to work. Also, beautiful flowers. My husband got them for me. If any of you guys have allergies, I feel for you because my eyes are just like so much in pain right now. Did I have my window open all day? Yeah, but like, come on, it's almost summer. I'm procrastinating. I'm gonna get to writing. Hello everyone, it is now Monday actually. I thought about filming more to this video, but I think we've really reached a good stopping point here, and honestly at this point if I can release shorter vlogs for y'all it's probably for the best. But like you guys just saw, I ended up finishing replotting my document and I'm about to start on inline comments. I actually plan on starting on that today if homework doesn't absolutely overwhelm me. So I thought that I'd go ahead and go through and talk about my plans for leaving the inline comments. So Right now, I'm going to try to get through 2 chapters every day, and I have an hour blocked out in my schedule to do that. It really depends if in actuality that takes that amount of time, but if that is the case, that means I will have the book finished in about 12 days. But the thing is, there are also weekends where I have the potential to write 6 hours because I have 3 days blocked out. So in actuality, I have myself set to finishing reviewing this book, I think by next Wednesday. I may have to check, I'll edit it and add that in here. But I kind of made myself a Notion plan with class, beta reading, homework, other things like that, and reading and going through my own book. Once I finish that, that'll be about the 4-week mark of spring, and I think that'll be the perfect time to go ahead and jump back into this manuscript, try to add things a little bit more. I'm not sure if I want to start from scratch or I want to look at what I already did. I may just look at it but still start from scratch because I feel like because I'm looking at this with a different perspective now and I actually know what's going on, my edits are going to be a lot different than the ones that I previously made. But anyway, that is my plan for leaving the inline comments. I still think that there's potential for me to finish editing this book. I just have to make sure that I focus on the things that I need to focus on right now, and that is developmental. I cannot worry about line level issues. I cannot worry about descriptions. I just need to make sure that I have this book ready for beta readers because I really want to have beta readers after I finish this draft. The most important thing is for the story to be the story that it's going to be at the end of the day, and even if the line level stuff isn't perfect, I mean, that's why we have another draft after that, draft 3, to fix those issues. So I kind of wanted to talk about what my perspective is with traditional publishing and indie publishing. I know it feels very odd and really like out of the blue, but it's kind of been something that's been on my mind. The thing about this book is that I still want to start querying in January. I think that I'll be able to pull it off, but the problem is that I'm worried that this book isn't going to do very well, at least with some of the big publishers out there, just because of how Christian it is. And I hate that that's the way it is, and I hate that's what I'm thinking about right now, but I feel like it's not going to gel well with the majority of audience, if that makes sense. Like, it's so inherently tied in beliefs, and it's almost a criticism of society in some ways, and I think that makes it very difficult to absorb in some instances. But at the same time, I also really try to make this book relatable. I'm trying to make a young adult book that I would have wanted to read when I was younger, characters that I relate to. I strongly relate to Ace's character and who he is, not so much in his relationships, but just the way he reacts and how closed off he is. That's how I was as a kid. I was terrible at talking to people, to the point where, like, I was known as the person that never talked to anyone. I was the quiet girl that you could not make talk about anything. I barely spoke a word. And I really relate to my main character Ace in that sense, but I'm just worried that the book, because it's so inherently tied to Christian beliefs and themes, that it's not going to do well. And then in that case, I would need to try to go with a Christian traditional publisher because of how tied it is to that. But the problem with that is that this book is also very realistic. It has swear words, it has curses, it has relationships that are very complicated and complex. And I hate to say this, but sometimes I feel like that's not what Christian marketing and publishing is looking for. This book really sits in such a balance between having these very strong Christian themes, but at the same time being very real for the state of the world that we're in. And it's just hard for me to, it's kind of cynical, but I worry about where it's going to fit and who is going to feel comfortable picking up a book that really has some criticisms about the society that we live in today. And in that sense, I've been thinking more about indie publishing. Big important thing for this book is for me to get it into libraries, to get it into the hands of readers that it was made for. It's made for a young adult audience. And if I were to self-publish it, I'd hate to say this, but I don't know if it's less likely that it would reach that audience, because it would be teenagers. And I don't know, if you are in indie publishing and you do young adult, I may have to like do some more research about this, but I feel like the fact that it's hard to get a self-published book in a library kind of limits the access that some readers would have to this book. So it's very conflicting. I wouldn't be opposed to indie publishing. I think that it's so cool, and I think it would give me a lot of creative leeway, as in for like choosing the cover, choosing how the book is marketed, and I would enjoy all of those things. But at the same time, I want to get this book into the hands of the readers that it was designed for, and it's just difficult. So that's kind of where I'm sitting with the publishing aspect. Sorry to be like a downer at the end of the video, that's kind of just what I'm thinking about, because if you've been following this channel, you know that I'm trying for traditional publishing, but in getting to know this book more and kind of understanding the publishing market, it is a bit concerning that this might not gel well with at least top 5 or like bigger publishing agencies, which is not necessarily what I need. It just might, I don't know if I'm explaining it right. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining it right. I'm probably just really bad at it, but those are just my feelings. But anyway, I'm very, very excited for the progress that I've made in this project. It can be very, I can easily be very down on myself because a lot of people are moving at a faster rate in writing than I am, but I am also doing a lot of things besides this in my life, and I think that at the end of the day, I am doing everything I can for this story, and that's all I can do. If you made it to the end of this video, leave the moon or the stars emoji, because I feel like a lot of the writing sessions in this video were actually done at night, which is really cool. I'm naturally more productive at night, I've told you guys this, so it kind of gelled really well, and it was very fun, and it was very nice to like, it was just so peaceful and tranquil, and I really loved it. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching all of this video. It was truly amazing to get to share this process with you. I really hope that you enjoyed the first episode of the Writing Novelties Spring Edition. If you enjoyed, leave a comment. What are you working on this spring? What project are you working towards? What draft are you on? What are you struggling with in the process you're currently in? And yeah, I am very, very excited to see where this journey takes us this spring, and I can't wait to share it with you all. Bye.
Never